I'm a big ass. Which is fine, because, like, I like big asses. I think I owe Mary Bowberry an apology for my video, and the truth is I kind of roped all these women into this, and I had to have sex with like 40 women, so there's like a lot, and I only remember a handful of them, which, yeah. Um, I believe this is something that just occurred to me. Like, I obviously have borderline personality disorder from how I behave. And I mean, they send a woman out. She's going to be trying to ruin my life anyways. Might as well have it be Mary Bowberry, but I think I may have taken a hammer to that in that one video I did. If I'm remembering things correctly. Definitely owe her a big apology. But I mean, I did ruin everybody's life. I did get all these women poisoned with heavy metals, and they're all going to be brainwashed, which is just horrible. But I wanted to talk about self-sabotage. It occurs to me that I signed the perjury for these people, right? And all the poisoning of the heavy metals, and you don't understand how bad heavy metals are and how badly they mess up your mind. But I have got to wonder if my subconscious isn't programmed to just self-sabotage me, as if it itself doesn't. I remember Blondie saying this, said, my conscious itself doesn't believe I deserve nice things. Therefore, what it does is make sure I can't have them, because that's the difference in the ruling class and the poor class like me is I believe that I don't deserve anything. And I was like, well, I don't really do believing to begin with, but here's the thing, as I become painfully aware of my subconscious and how it works, which is really annoying, and I reach deeper and darker into the dark void of my mind and understand this thing even more, I start to note that it keeps a repertoire of times that I was gonna do something and it interfered and sabotaged it for some unexplained reason. Even some of my freakouts where I do these videos and I just freak out, like, that could be my subconscious doing that for some unexplained reason. I've heard stories in psychology that people will be like, oh, this is the most amazing relationship, I love this woman, I want to be with this woman, and then they sabotage the relationship because they just feel inadequate, or they're not good enough, or they're not going to stack up, and they're not going to be worthy and stuff, I don't know about worthiness, and I've never really cared about class or whatever. I just kind of see people, but I wonder if my subconscious doesn't quite see things the way my conscious mind sees it. What if my conscious mind, for some reason, believes I'm not worthy? And I kind of think, like, if I had to explain this, the blue-eyed guy, when I said I'm just some guy, he got so weird about it. And I don't know how to explain how weird he got. Like, it was as if he was, like, shocked when I said that. Like, and one, my mind was erased. I didn't know I did anything great to begin with. And secondly, it was all an accident. Like, what I did is like that movie Free Guy when an NPC suddenly gains sentience or something, except I didn't gain sentience. I just wandered off I guess what I was supposed to be going to work, going home, and then Stu failed to kill me, and because like short circuit, number Johnny 5 got struck by lightning, and suddenly he goes off the path he's supposed to do, and I just started doing things that were off the path. I don't remember who it was. It was one of the people from the church that when I told him the truth is the reason you guys can't beat me is I have no self-esteem and that's my secret. So you guys can't make me feel bad. You can't hurt me because I'm already at the lowest and I talk shit to myself all the time in my own mind. So I'm mentally hardened. And I was like, whereas you guys get offended if I just call you stupid. Yeah, that's the secret. That's my secret right there. And this guy was like, what? And I was like, there's nothing mean or like you can say to me mentally, there's no way you can get to me because I'm already at negative. Like I'm negative a trillion all the time. And I was like, the way I always explain this to people is, if you lived on the sun, you'll never have a hot day on Earth. You'll never have a hot day on Earth. And I remember this guy was like, you're so fucking stupid. And I don't remember why this guy got mad about that, but then he started yelling about what the actually fucking happened was I didn't feel worthy of my own success and greatness, so I sabotaged it. And he told me, he went on a thing, and like I said, I've heard it in psychology books, that your subconscious, I don't think I was ever sworn in or fucking, like, told you're gonna be the poor working class and that's just your life. Like, fucking, I don't know where that came from. And I guess maybe it was just something that was programmed, like, you're the working class. And I remember being told that in school, you're the working class, but I never really thought about, like, you're the working class as, like, a death sentence. But I guess, it's all normal for my class to work, so I had no other definitive way of comparing that to anything, I believe that, yeah, Blondie may have hypnotized me, but my subconscious sabotaged me, and as a result, I said those mean things about Mary Bowberry in my other videos, and I'm really sorry about it. And I guess it's not a her thing, it's a me thing. And I even said in that video, Blondie, you're rich, you have money, you can take care of her. And that's true. And I think I remember explaining this when I was God, that there are different forms of love, and one of them is a selfless love, where you want the other person to do good no matter what. Even if it doesn't have you in it. And I remember Blondie like, you're so stupid, I only care about me, and it just, Blondie's fucking entitled rant. And I guess to make things worse is I remember Mary telling me she absolutely hates entitled white guys, and she's about to be trapped in a relationship the rest of her life with the most entitled white guy in existence. Okay, maybe not. I don't, you know what, if there was a scale, he's definitely up there on the entitled white guy spectrum. That's my fault. I'm laughing right now, but it's more of a nervous reaction as opposed to, like, I guess crying. I'm not, I don't, whatever. I don't know how you deprogram a brain for self-sabotage, but I remember even Blondie was like, you need to stay in your natural, and it's that, there's a movie, George of the Jungle, I don't know if it's the first or second one, but Chick's mother's like, spots with spots, stripes with stripes, you are a spot, and she's a stripe. You need to stay in the spots. Like, you need, basically, and Blondie gave me that speech, you need to stay in your class. You cannot have the rich fat wife. It drives him crazy. He's not, because he wants to control things once again. He shouldn't be trying to control, okay? Like, this is just what he does. He's interfering in something that is none of his fucking business, because he's appointed himself controller god. Not God, like creator God, but controller God, because he's too much of a loser to create anything, because he's a loser. These guys are just masters of repetition. They can copy something real easily. They're like mimics or something, you know. But they can't create, and that's just a thing with them. They can't create. Even when I was out there in the desert and the wives explained to me the superior psychology, the arithmetic, and the mental pattern machine of the brain and blah 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 blah. Trust me, it was long. I was like, okay, cool. When do you guys develop critical thinking and creative thought? And we don't do that. Anybody comes up with a new idea, we just kill them and then we steal their idea and then give it to our guys because they can create the repetition of what that guy did, assuming that guy followed the scientific method and wrote everything down and our guy can replicate it. I was like, okay, you killed the creative, but what if he could have created more things? And they were like, no, a creative can only create one thing. And I was like, because you lit them. But I also got into this thing where Anal Eating Mummy God, this other fight, talking about morals and values. I know Boy Scout, where he was like, basically every famous figure you know, including Jesus, was secretly a piece of shit. And the good guys never prosper kind of speech, and they never get anywhere. And I told him, I was like, I don't believe that, because when you're up on stage talking about doing good things like take your vitamins and work out, kids, people love that kind of thing. And I was like, what if, and I remember telling him, what if the truth is you people have learned to virtue signal? He's like, it's not virtue signaling, they have an entirely different word for it. And I was like, but what if you guys just virtue signal? And the virtuous person that can actually be those things and be a leader, and I was like, actually exists, but you shoot him in the head. Because you're like, oh, he's actually virtuous? Bang! And I remembered this kind of like, oh. Like, and I was like, look, guys, I was like, you guys don't have, and you know, we have values, we have more. I was like, when you cheat at everything, you're like, oh, I'm superior because I rigged it. And he's like, it's not rigging, it's not cheating, and everything is sideways. Nothing is directly fucking explained. And I was like, but you shoot the other guy in the head. They win, you shoot him in the head. I was like, that's what happens because you can't handle losing. And he's like, we don't lose. I was like, you do lose. You just kill the guy that wins. Like, you're ridiculous. And I was like, in the child, I was like, you cannot have murder as one of your solutions for a problem, because it always becomes the number one solution for everything. It very quickly becomes the problem-solving solution. Yeah. And he was like, so you're implying that good people, like a virtuous good person could be a leader. And I was like, yeah. And then he said to me, there's this one guy that went through the process, but everybody else has lead in their brains, and this one dude has gone through the process, and if he is successful and he can do the things that you're claiming he can do, like, I'll be willing to accept that, basically, because there's never been anybody like him. He's an extremely unique individual, and I think he was talking about me, which is kind of weird. He also said whenever people apologize at the end of their sentence or whatever, like, I guess when you start apologizing, that means you've given up and you're going to be executed. So I guess I need to disappoint him there. But I also told Mary I never disappoint women, and I'm pretty sure I disappointed her when I said that she was stupid and all those really mean things. Once again, big ass. I'm a big ass. Half ass, small ass. Big ass. I mean, big asses are nice. Just big butt. So what? These are just my thoughts. I seem to have done all the wrong things, but if you know anything about me, I get everything wrong before I get it right. I'm pretty tired of that, and that might just be some subconscious programming with me that I've programmed into my own mind, that my subconscious is like, self-sabotage, we're going to do all the wrong things first, and then the right thing. Maybe I just need to be like, I get everything right first try, you know. Just, I should probably do some more research on the self-sabotaging subconscious. kind of wish I knew a hypnotist. Just, nope, 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 stop sabotaging him, you know, like, whatever. Just my thoughts for now.